Hello, it's March the 1st, 2020, and my mother died today. So I've been estranged from my mother for since I was like 17. Um, well, it probably wasn't 17. That's when my father killed himself, and unfortunately, at that time, uh, my mother basically wanted me to bottle everything up and not talk about it. And there were even some words there where he left one day and she told me to, you know, basically stop him or stuff. And that wasn't something that I wasn't capable of that. I wanted him to leave and I wanted him to never come back, and he never did because he, yeah, went to the hospital and shot himself. Um, and so we had a very heavy rupture there. And over the years, I'd visit her once or twice, but each time I felt like I was just there to be tapped back into that square peg where I was very, very round, or vice versa. And so we never really had a relationship after that. I had a relation to the woman who raised me and my memories, and been wrestling with that all my life, but it just never was there again. And never there really with my brother and my sister, who chose to stay and were a part of that. And whenever I came back, they sort of also were like, why don't you join the family? And I was like, I can't. And I don't know if I was ever able to particularly express that to my mother or to them as much as I am able to express it to myself now, because it's just, I don't have a relationship with these people. Or my mother, who, it sounds like she had a good final bit of her life. She did go into a kind of a care home about 5 years ago and had a good number of years there. She had a little dog, which, as a dog person myself, I'm very happy with. And I guess she had Parkinson's, and she broke her hip, and there was COVID. Um, and kind of a combination of all of this together, she apparently fairly rapidly went downhill and died. And my sister got in contact with Ja today, and I sent her my phone number because that's exactly how much we were not in contact. And we had a conversation, and so she let me know this stuff. And I mean, I'm kind of, I don't know if I'm grateful. I'm happy that my sister, hopefully my brother, had a relationship with her, this woman, that I didn't. There was just a rupture there. And maybe a part of that is just me not being able to forgive her or be able to kind of maintain myself outside of her, um, as an adult. It's one of these things of like, I heard she had died, and it wasn't like, oh, why didn't I know beforehand because I wanted to talk to her. It's like I didn't really have much to say to her. Um, I didn't have much to say to her. Like, the conversations I needed to have were with myself, and I've had a lot of those over the years. I mean, I think will continue to have. I was thinking about, like, I knew my father for my first 17 years of my life, and now I'm in my 50s, and I'm still having those conversations with this part of my father and this part of my mother in my head. You know, I think about it, it's like my mother's passing away. Basically, she was in her 80s, late 80s, not late 80s, 85, 86, I don't know. Um, and, I think it's like, well, if my father hadn't killed himself, he would have died of natural causes by now as well. Um, but yeah, I've entered that part of my life where both my parents are dead. Um, but in some ways, I'd left them behind a long time ago, and another way, they're always going to be there. But So yeah, that's where I'm at. It's one of those weird things of talking to my sister. It almost felt like I was like, oh, I'm sorry for your loss. Kind of that detachment. Yet at the same time, there being obviously a lot more there. This is the woman who gave me birth. And I'm grateful for that. I'm very grateful that I'm around. I told Deja that. I'm very grateful that I was given the chance for existence. Um, you know, there's things of how I am now that unfortunately I can trace back to them, but I have to kind of, I'm also an adult and I have to take responsibility for them. Um, I guess I'm sorry I was never able to have a relationship with her, but I tried to the best of my ability to do that, but it wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to happen. Um, and a part of that is a certain kind of betrayal that I felt that I couldn't let go of, which, you know, it is what it is. I think I feel like I deserve to choose who I'm going to be with, who I'm going to let into my life. I think about John. I think about her mother. It's like I have a much deeper relationship with Ja's mother than I ever did with my own mother, which is really important to me. Um, and I guess if anything, it just makes me more mindful of trying to be a present person with the people I do care about in my life, because I see a lot of my withdrawal and a lot of my shut offness and my inwardness. Part of that is just my personality. There's that. And, there's a reason maybe why my brother and sister were able to have a relationship with my mother and I wasn't. It's part of that is just how I am wired. Um, but it's also important that, like, I want to be, I don't want to be someone at the end of my life that never let anyone in. And I think I've let Ja in, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm very much sitting in the backyard chatting, talking to myself on this silly thing. But this is how I process things. This is how I get things felt and done. Um, so yeah, I've been taking this taking whatever project this is along with me in my life, and this was definitely the moment to keep in there as I'm now in spooky shadows, because I'm assuming a duel clicked on a light. Yes, I can see her up there looking at me. All right, I'm going to go upstairs and probably have a bath and read some Don Quixote. That's my plans. And live. And live. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Patricia, Beatrice, Morris, Higgins. Thank you very much for that. And I hope you had a good life. Goodbye, Mom.